Everyone at the diner had already turned to look when the black limousine pulled into the gravel lot. It was out of place here, in this rusty little town where broken trucks outnumbered working ones and the air always smelled like oil and burnt coffee. Jimmy's grease pit was no place for a billionaire, yet the woman who stepped out looked like she belonged on the cover of a business magazine. Tall, impeccably dressed, distracted, and furious. Her private jet had made an emergency landing at the town's barely functional airstrip. One of the landing gears had jammed mid-flight. No mechanic from the city could make it there for hours. So someone had pointed her to Jimmy. Jimmy was in his late 50s. His coveralls were permanently stained with engine grime, and his fingers bore the scars of decades spent under hoods. He had a limp from a motorcycle accident back in '93 and a heart condition that kept him from long shifts. But when he saw the woman walk into his garage, flanked by a frantic assistant and a silent driver, he just wiped his hands and gave her a calm nod. "You Jimmy?" she asked, impatience sharp in her voice. "Yes, ma'am." "My plane's grounded. Engine's fine, but the landing gear is stuck. I was told you're the only one who might be able to fix it before nightfall." Jimmy didn't say much. He just grabbed his toolbox, called out to his helper, Luis, and followed her to the airstrip. It was a quiet ride. She stared out the window. Jimmy observed the way she kept clenching and unclenching her fists. "I've got a meeting in Denver," she finally muttered, "with investors who will decide whether my company lives or dies. I can't miss it." Jimmy didn't promise anything. He just nodded again. The jet was sleek and white, with gold lining on the wings. It looked like it belonged in another world. Jimmy ran his calloused fingers along the side, then ducked under to inspect the gear. For the next hour, he worked in near silence, sweat beading on his forehead, Luis passing him tools. The sun was brutal. The tarmac was hot. The jet's engine glinted in the light like something from a sci-fi movie. Jimmy's hands moved with steady purpose. At one point, Luis whispered, "You okay, boss?" Jimmy grunted. "Been through worse." From inside the jet's cabin, the woman watched through the window. She had taken off her heels and sat barefoot, sipping bottled water and trying not to spiral into anxiety. But something about the old man's focus, his quiet commitment, held her gaze. 2 hours later, Jimmy stood, stretching his sore back. "Try it now," he told the co-pilot. The gear retracted, then extended perfectly. She stepped out of the cabin and approached him. "You did it," she said, blinking in disbelief. "You actually did it." "Told you I'd try." "How much do I owe you?" Jimmy hesitated, wiped his hands on a rag, and then said, "No charge.